Hi, Scorpio family. Oh, I'm so happy to talk to you guys. You all have just been so awesome, such a good part of this last week because actually, this Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which I'm filming during, it's always exciting to try and communicate during something like that, has been really intense for me. Um, and I've had to check in with a lot of stuff, and guess who's been in my corner through that really solidly? Team Scorpio. So I just want to thank you guys for being awesome in that way. I kind of love the note that I have for you guys. You guys, I think what I love about talking to Scorps and checking in with you guys is that you are down for a little bit of trouble, a little bit of shakeup, a little bit of revolution. You know how to roll with that. And so when a note comes up for me that's like that, and I'm sensing like, oh, the Scorpio fam is getting into some deeper territory this month. I know it's going to be fun to share it with you. I know it's going to be fun to see what the cards have to say. I know we're going to have fun diving into this. And I think we are going to have so much fun in April. It's an interesting time for the Scorpio clan. So the note that came up, let's talk about the note. Then we'll get into some of these aspects that are coming up to support that. And then we'll get into the cards. It's all working together. But the note that came up was tremors. And then wipe the slate clean as little tremors come up to the surface. These tiny earthquakes are helping you to morph and do it in a way that you do best, with a bit of spectacle and a bit of curiosity. So I like that. So I do think this month's like a little bit, ooh, Eight of Pentacles. Okay, I can roll with that. I can roll with that kind of vibe. You're working at something. You're crafting something. You are starting to build into this next phase, right? Because part of what's going on is, of course, April, we start off in Aries season, kind of more of that sixth house, check in with your body, check in with your routines, check in with your service. And then we get into Taurus season. And of course, that's mirror season for my lovely Scorpios out there. That is a time when you get that reflexive devil. Woo. I wasn't going to say reflexive devil energy, but that reflexive energy where you are kind of getting a chance to see yourself. You're at a halfway point through the year, through your year, especially if you're a Scorpio sun, where you're getting that chance. Your oppositional sign is getting lit up by Uranus as well for several years, right? So I'm dropping cards. Sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. Two of Swords. Man, this card has been popping up right and left in the April readings. That's because not everything can be seen this month. And we are being asked to slow our roll a little bit and not get super caught up in what we think things are supposed to be. Seriously, another card just fell on the floor. I don't know. High Priestess. Okay, well worth it. Okay, Scorps. You're doing some interesting revolutions in the energetic field. Yeah. This is like behind the scenes kind of stuff is coming up here. But we're getting used to this Uranus and Taurus transit. And it's a big one. That sense of revolution in the fixed earth sign of Taurus is a really interesting new way to work through things. And so I think that Two of Swords is coming up a lot because King of Swords, some truth, some balance, some communication is coming back into the picture. I like it. Judgment. The Two of Swords is coming in because we're wanting things to work in the old way. We're wanting to get our answers in a specific way that used to work, but it's not working anymore. And so now we're kind of being told to hold on, wait a second, listen, stop and listen before you start making a whole bunch of movement and making a whole bunch of things happen, right? That's the underground tremors, the little earthquakes, right? The other thing that's going on, so we have a new moon in Aries, so that's a check-in energy for your physical body. We have a full moon in Libra, which is 12th house, right? These full moons are hitting right before they hit into Scorpio, actually. Like that full moon is almost in Scorpio. It's 29 degrees of Libra, so it's hitting up against this 12th house, like right before we hit into your energy. So you're going deep with the spiritual energy there, which with the High Priestess coming in, of course, that's what's going to happen. That full moon is going to feel pretty powerful for you guys. Very specifically, you will be feeling that because it's like the last degree possible before it becomes Scorpio. The very last degree. So we are at the peak, the pinnacle of 12th house energy. And then the other big thing this month that's happening really behind the scenes over time, over the course of the month, is that outer planets are going retrograde for several months, something that happens every year. And when this starts to happen, what we're doing is we're releasing control, we're releasing the illusion of control, and we are surrendering more to the divine process. King of Cups. There you guys are. There you guys are. You're going to be able to float with this just fine. That's the thing. I'm just like, oh. I don't know why, but I'm just not concerned about Scorpio this month. I'm like, yeah, no worries. So we have Jupiter going retrograde on April 10th. That's in Sagittarius. Second house energy for you guys. We have Pluto going retrograde on April 24th in Capricorn. That's happening until October. We have Saturn going retrograde in Capricorn on April 29th. And that goes until September. So the next season, the next, spring and summer or fall and winter, depending on where you are in the world, is going to have these themes of releasing control, trusting into the process, and the sun. Okay, I love this. You guys have every type of energy in this reading is like showing up here for you, and it's like getting to play in little pockets of existence. You guys are kind of mischievous that way anyway, and you're like tapping into this, ooh, what's over here? And like I think maybe that's where that note, little tremors. It's like you guys understand transformation. You understand the only constant is change, which is why you're a fixed sign, right? Because it's fixed. It's consistent in that. So you understand how to like dive into that and roll through it of a day, of a month. But here's what's interesting. You start off with really grounded energy, right? And once again, Aries season for you, you're checking in with some details, you're checking in with some specifics, you're checking in with some pragmatic stuff. So this is very grounded energy that can kind of slow you down and get you focused in on what you want to be incorporating into your life, what you want to be doing. Now, I'm also noticing that with this energy, there's like a mastery here. There's a mastery of a skill set, there's a mastery of a situation where you are really feeling on your game. But a sub-theme to all of this is you are also questioning what it means to be in a consistent routine, and you're questioning what it means to be committed to things and what it means to be connected to things. Now, because Capricorn is so affected right now by Pluto, your ruling planet, and Saturn, and the retrogrades are beginning in that sign, the devil card's showing up quite a bit because that Capricorn energy, it's all getting questioned right now. And it's all getting re-scrambled. What it means to be disciplined, what it means to put our energy or efforts, what it means to commit to things, what it means to push through things, right? And where is that serving you? And so, I mean, for you, it seems like the things you're focusing on, the things you're mastering, it is serving you. But there is also a question of how much is it locking you in? How much are you feeling like there's almost a heaviness? And that's where you take a little detour. This is like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or something. I don't even know. Where you get into Two of Swords High Priestess energy. It's like, oh, okay, we've done this grounded thing now. I know how to do that. Good, cool. But like actually what I'm interested in is asking some questions in the liminal space that exists on the energetic field. Between the energetic field and the physical field, there are liminal spaces where most of the good stuff is kind of held. And this energy right here is kind of the not knowing, where this energy is like the knowing how it's working, knowing how to do it, knowing how to get from point A to point B, knowing all the pragmatic steps, the real world steps to get from one point to the other, This energy is all about the not knowing. This energy is all about the amorphousness of existence, the relativity of existence, and the inability to actually put your foot on a path. So you guys are kind of caught between two states. And this state right here is kind of happening on the subtler level behind the scenes of all this other externalized stuff. It's almost like you guys are presenting as very pulled together, collected, getting it done, knowing how to do it. But behind the scenes, you guys are checking in with some really deep questions. And the thing with Two Swords and High Priestess energy is they don't want you to move. They don't want you to make a lot of movement in the world. They don't want you to just stir things up just to stir things up. They want you to sit very still and quietly and be comfortable in the pause long enough to hear what needs to come up. And there is something that needs to come up. There is something that needs to change. There is something that has imprisoned you a little bit. There is something about your grounded reality that is getting challenged at the soul level right now. And that's where those tremors are coming in, and that's where that questioning is coming in, and that is where the wonder is coming in, because you know that you can't just do things the way that you used to be doing. Once again, Uranus is in your opposite sign. We're getting used to a long transit that will be affecting you very personally for many years, especially when it comes to relationship and how you give. So you're getting taken to kind of, while this is all pragmatic, honestly, these other three cards are quite esoteric, ritual-based energies. They have a lot of ritualistic tendencies. So there's something going on there with you and the way you ritualize your life and the way you enact that life in ritual. I always like to say life and gratitude comes from ritualizing even the simplest of things, like doing the dishes, or to slowing down enough to like even make a mundane thing a holy sense of prayer. And that sounds really over the top, but it can help us to find the breadcrumb trail where we're headed next. And that's the thing with you guys, is I do feel like there is a loss of self, there is a loss of path in order to open up to something new. And part of the reason I say that, you look at this Judgment card between two kings. And these two kings are truth bringers. One brings truth with that balanced, pragmatic voice of communication, and one brings truth emotionally. And in between them, in between these two masculine energies of truth and balance and equilibrium, is Judgment, a card that is very deeply tied to your ruling planet Pluto, which is going retrograde on April 24th, right? Judgment is all about rebirth. Judgment is all about forgiveness of sin, forgiveness of the past, but also the acceptance of death, the acceptance of loss, the acceptance that we are lost and then found again, and the acceptance of that cyclical energy of things. Now, you might have a King of Swords or a King of Cups in your life. Somebody who's very forthright, somebody who may even just be so level-headed. You're wondering how they could be so level-headed when you have all this stuff going on underneath the surface, when you have all these tremors shaking up who you are, shaking up how you work, shaking up your day-to-day routines, shaking up who you've been in the past, shaking up all your senses of identity and reshuffling them. And you have maybe some very pragmatic people in your life who are like, what? What? Be patient with those people. That's what I have to say about this month, is we are not going to be in Mercury retrograde. We're going to be in the post-shadow side of the Mercury retrograde, but Mercury is still in Pisces. And we are starting these long-range outer orbit retrogrades. There's still kind of this inability to fully connect the dots in April, and that's where we're kind of having to hold still. But here's the thing that's really interesting with you guys. All these cards are actually quite positive. They're beautiful cards, and the sun is your overarching energy, right? The sun is so much about creativity, playfulness, ease. You guys, I think the thing that people often don't know about Scorpios is that you guys know how to have so much fun. Like, you know how to be theatrical, hilarious, and very playful, very willing to try and play. And maybe you have a Leo in your life. I don't know. It is the Leo card. You have a number of personalities hanging around. There could be Pisces, there could be Libra, there could be another Scorpio, Cancer. Leo, clearly you're connecting with people, and clearly you have personalities around you now. What that looks like and what that feels like, I don't know. But, the sun energy is overarching this whole conversation we've been having about judgment, and this Plutonian energy of you guys going underground and coming back up, and this high priestess energy of you guys really connecting with a truth that needs to happen, and this devil energy, which is asking you, what does relationship mean to you? What does commitment mean to you? What does balance mean to you? But overarching all of that is the sun. And the sun says that you are free to become this next thing. The sun says you are allowed to play in this next field of vision. The sun says, oh, all those tremors are leading you to the sunshine. They're leading you to the freedom to be and express in new ways. And the thing that's going on with fixed signs is that right now is all 4 fixed signs. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. The fixed sign family, and I'm right there with you. I'm a Leo sun, and my sun is in my 8th house, which makes me connected to the Scorpios. But the fixed signs are really reconnecting with freedom. One of the big things that we are learning as we go through these energetic cycles and as we are born into one energy is we are learning how to morph into the other energies. We are not being asked to actually just stay in the fixed sign energy. So fixed signs are being asked to act a little bit more like mutable and cardinal energies. That's the best way I can describe it. It's not like we're going to change suddenly and be a mutable or cardinal sign, but what we're doing is we're learning how to do that initiating and changing and playful energy a little bit more. We're learning a new sense of freedom from heavy responsibility, from duty, and from the ways we've maybe gotten our information in the past. Now for you Scorps, you're actually doing things in the way that you do best, which is that you are doing some energetic investigations, you are doing some psychic investigations on yourself and others around you, and you're causing some little tremors to emerge so that you can shift and change out and be creative and be more playful. And you are seeking more freedom. You are seeking more openness. You are seeking more playfulness, and you are seeking a way to live life where you don't feel heavy, where you don't feel tied down, where you don't feel so much of that sense of like having to be something for somebody. It's not always just about all that deep commitment energy. It's like you guys know how to do that. So now what you're investigating is how to be free and open in other ways that you've been kind of craving for a while. And each of you, that's going to look different, whether that's career, living space, where you are in the world, who you're loving, because you do have Uranus and Taurus, so that's opposite sign energy, relationships. It's a theme. We're getting zinged, though. The fixed signs are getting zinged, and you guys are definitely coming up from underground, right? You got the devil and judgment and high priestess. These energies are kind of locked into like a dark back room almost, where you go and you do ritual, and you are being released out into the bright sunshine to go do stuff and explore and have fun, but you're doing it via little revolutions, little nuggets of truth, right and left everywhere around you. So just kind of be prepared to get little zings throughout the month, basically. I hope this reading was helpful for you guys. It was really interesting trying to enunciate what I'm trying to tell you guys about your month, because it's kind of wonky, and I'm sure some of you will get a sense of what this all means for you personally when you see those cards. You can find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. I would love to see you over there. You can also check me out on my website, SARAHTAROT.com. I'm setting up sessions in July and August and onwards, so I would highly recommend going ahead and scheduling so that we can get our time together. I do intuitive readings where we work with your energetic cycles to see what's coming up and out and how you can prioritize that. I'm of course wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. Oh, my little crescent moon, mother of pearl crescent moon, and then of course my crown. She's always got new stuff in her store. Go check her out. I will leave her stuff in the description box. All the goodies are in the description box. So you just click show more and it will give you everything you need to know to connect with me, to connect with Tiffany at PinkLune. I love you guys so much. I will see you in May for more of this wild time that we are in. I'm so curious to see what April is going to bring, because man, it is some wild stuff. I love you guys so much. I will see you very soon.